right, everyone. It's me and it's him.
Hello.
We're
I still haven't
here.
fixed my avatar. I just realized Christmassy. It's because the other one doesn't work. I was on Real BBC and apparently if I look up the other one, you tell me what happens if I do this. What
Yeah,
does it
it's
look
fine.
like? Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's just smaller. Yeah, it's
All
just your
right.
standard one.
We'll see then because it was all fucked up on. Whatever. Fine. Good.
It
Maybe it works here.
No, it was a weird one actually because there was one open bar thing that we did maybe a week ago or something, and yeah, your avatar was just the blank one, the default one. So yeah, I don't know what had happened there, but yeah, it looks fine for me here, so I assume it's all right.
Well, good then.
Anyway, yeah, enough scintillating avatar chat, I suppose, for the people watching this. We
Now
are
on to the
here.
real
We
events of the
did
day.
our open bar the other night, and we still had some super chats to do at the end of it all. So let's get through them because I want to answer these questions, and we never leave a super chat behind on the open bar. Just like a half empty drink, we never leave that behind either. So the last one that I got to the other night was from Whiskey Eye, who said, "Cheers, Chads! I'm drinking Doc Swinston's bourbon, nice and smooth and great with a steak dinner. Nice. I just watched Pale Blue Eye and it was very well done. Kind of gave an American Sherlock Holmes feel to it. You should check it out."
Yeah, I've had a
Sounds
couple
alright.
recommendations on that one.
Yeah. I'm getting so many recommendations these days. I need to watch Tulsa King, apparently. That's going to be my next thing to watch.
What is that? Is that a streaming movie or?
It's on Netflix, I think. So it's a series. It's Sylvester Stallone, and I think he's like a
Ah,
mob enforcer who, got arrested back in the day, and he could have like squealed on people, but instead he just like did his time, and so he's been in jail for like 20 years, and he's just got out. Obviously, he's a lot older now, and he's kind of going back to his hometown to like reestablish himself, I guess.
hmm.
So yeah, kind of intriguing. And I've had quite a few people, reach out and say that it's pretty good. So yeah, I'd be interested to see what Stallone can do as well. Like rather than just being in a straight up action movie or whatever, like seeing him in a TV show just seems kind of surreal.
Yeah, right. Well, I'll try and catch that at some point then. Yeah.
Sounds good. Timmy04 says, "Drinker, not only should Jennifer Lawrence play James Bond, but why not take it a step further? Have it written by Phoebe Waller Bridge and directed by Patty Jenkins." I say do it. Can we have Brie Larson co-star? I think.
We would definitely check it out. I'm
Yeah,
sure it would revitalize the franchise.
it would generate interest.
It would.
I
It would.
think probably amongst YouTubers, but yeah, it would be good. Coco says, "Drinker, ask Nick what's the smallest building in Minnesota and let him guess. The answer is the Vikings Hall of Fame." Ooh, that was brutal. Now, I'm not even a sports fan myself, but I kind of get what you're going for there.
Damn.
I imagine Nick is raging right now. Casey Boyd says, "Cavill rumored to play Captain Britain in the MCU. Is that true?" Saying so. Captain Britain is just Captain America with a Union Jack plastered across his chest. But I don't know, man. He's that'd be weird actually when I think about it. Seeing Henry Cavill in the MCU, maybe he could have
Um,
done better there. I don't know. Maybe he backed the wrong horse. You think
yeah.
playing Superman would be a surefire hit, but apparently it wasn't.
Make him Modoc. That could work out. Can you
just
imagine
this,
Cavill with his little arms like.
just this giant face like stretched over this thing. Do it. Play the High Note says, "How does Colin Trevorrow escape so much criticism? He has to be one of the biggest hack frauds going today. Jurassic World 3 was the worst movie of 2022. I mean, I'm not sure if I can entirely dispute that. It was terrible. I got so sick of Chris Pratt and his hand signals by the first hour. Yeah, I know what you mean. Have you gotten around to watching that yet?
No.
Oh,
That's such a pre-packaged dumbass movie that's sitting there for me to watch it. I'm just like, ugh, maybe one
you,
day.
I think honestly, if you did an EFAT movies watch through of it, you guys would lose your minds over some of the dumbness.
I
The
can't
dumbness
believe it's
is
going to
legendary.
outdumb Fallen Kingdom, but as people have said, it outdumbs that.
Oh, it definitely outdumbs it, yeah. Because there's
What a
such a
shame.
breadth of dumbness in this one as well. It's diverse dumbness.
Ah,
But yeah, I mean, when we talk about movies like that though, like he's just the director. Like presumably he didn't write it, so I don't know how much blame you can really attach to him. He can only work with the material he's given. I know obviously he was in line to do Rise of Skywalker or whatever it was originally going to be, but then left because Ryan pretty much torpedoed the possibility of doing a decent sequel. So yeah, I mean, I don't know what to make of him really.
Mm-hmm.
It's a tough one. Nick Harrigan Artwork says, can't wait for the Forrest Gump remake, but with Jennifer Lawrence. Turns out that she's involved in and responsible for every major event of the past 50 years. I think you're being conservative there. I'd say at least 70 years.
I was gonna say 50 years. What? It goes back. I don't even know if numbers go as high as it goes back. Like,
Jennifer Lawrence was Eve. She invented all of humans.
there's like the Big Bang's happening, and she's there with a wand. Like, I got it. I
Yeah,
did it.
I did it, guys. John Wayne drinks SJW Tears says, elitist identitarian collectivists performing fellatio on each other in a gigantic satanic orgy, aka all modern award shows. I mean, I can't independently verify that since I haven't been there, but yeah, it's a big circle jerk, really.
Would you go if you were invited to the Oscars?
Absolutely, just to tell everyone that I hated them.
They want you to
You know, if they
announce
had,
like best actor, and you're just like, really, me?
See, like I don't know if they serve like a punch bowl or anything, but like instead of spiking it, I would just like piss in it or something. You know? Yeah, take this, you dicks. Um, yeah, it's just you kind of wonder what goes on behind the scenes. Like, damn, are they sitting there like, man, I can't believe the public's swallowing this garbage, or are they genuinely like, yeah, we're gonna make the world a better place, us and the Film Actors Guild. We've got
How
this
long
in
will it
hand,
be going
guys.
for? You know, that's what everyone's wondering. Next Oscars
Yeah.
will be even funnier. Will there be a slap on purpose at this point? Like,
That's what I said after the Will Smith thing. I was like, man, people are going to just like any sort of fading actor who's not really getting any attention anymore is just going to start fighting someone just to get that like the world's eyes on them. Um, yeah, and that's the thing. People will tune in just to see if something might happen. You never know. Will Smith won't be there though, will he? He's like banned for like years now, isn't he?
I don't even know the ultimate repercussions of all of that. Did he get like? Is he like blacklisted now for everything?
I don't know. I think his punishment is he has to stay married to Jada.
Oh no!
That's truly the worst punishment imaginable.
Damn.
Yeah, but I think he has been blacklisted from the shows. Like, yeah, he can't go back there because of the disturbance, and probably a lot of projects that he's going to be in, like, were either cancelled or shelved or whatever.
Well, like anything that's coming out with him right now is just stuff that was already in the can, I suppose. Is there?
Well, he did that Emancipation movie, didn't he? Which was just it felt like A Train from the latest season of The Boys. You know what I mean? Like,
Well, yeah, just like what am I supposed to do next? Just like do this. People can't criticize you for this.
jump on the racial politics bandwagon and you'll be gold. You know. Patty P says, "Is it crazy that Mortal Kombat 1 is still the best video game adaptation with Street Fighter a close seconds? I mean, I consider Street Fighter the movie to be one of the greatest films ever made.
If we're going
So,
strictly by movies, fine. But if we're involving TV shows, I think something is going to rear its head pretty quickly. A little Arcane sort of thing.
yeah.
So funny because the League community, you know, they'll see it as like, oh, you didn't include this from the lore, or you fucked with this, or you changed this, but they're all pretty happy about it because Arcane's that good. It's just like support from all ends, basically.
Well, I'm kind of annoyed about this, right? Because it's like literally the best video adaptation of all time, and I never even played the original game, so I've got no clue about it. I don't know what it's referencing or anything. It's so frustrating.
It's
You
so
know?
weird being someone who played a decent chunk of League in my life because I was like, when I was watching the show, I was like, oh, I know that because of the thing. Oh,
Yeah. It must be so great to see it woven into like a really good narrative with
yeah.
great animation, great performances,
That's what
everything.
it's crazy. That's what everyone wants for all of their adaptations, right? And 99% of the time they fuck it up.
Hmm.
We
Yep.
just want to be like, oh, look, it's the thing I enjoyed in the other medium, and it's here with new eyes on it. That's neat.
Yeah.
Instead, you're like, what the fuck is that zombie-looking thing that's supposed to be my beloved character? Like, what is this?
Yeah. It's being a Resident Evil fan is a painful experience when it comes to like movies and TV shows.
Yes, it is.
Andrew Collins says, "What do you think will be turned into an hour-long special or straight up cancelled in Marvel Phase 5?" I don't know. What would they cancel? Do they have any reason to cancel things?
Uh, I mean, was there any other word of stuff like, "Oh, we will do a season 2 for She-Hulk," and then they were like, maybe not, like stuff like that?
Hmm. I mean, yeah, I suppose there's things like that, but it's like, yeah, from a movie point of view, I don't know of anything that was kind of announced and then it's not happening. Like Blade, maybe? Is that
Oh
still
yeah,
going ahead?
that got screwed up a bit, didn't it? I think they're just sort of redoing all of it. I assume anyway. God, that one's one of those ones where it's like, guys, there's such an obvious template for you to follow here. Don't fuck this up. But they're just like, yeah, but we like to fuck things up. Like, come
Yeah.
on.
It needs to be family friendly and it needs to be funny. Yeah. They should honestly have like an R-rated sort of Marvel Black series or something like the dark stuff that's like going to be really violent and stuff and is like a good alternative to the MCU but it's still under the Marvel brand and then
Absolutely,
just
yeah.
go all in with Blade, and other stuff like that. A Daredevil movie that was like super R-rated and violent. How awesome would that be?
I think that would be like it would be a great. You could run your child stuff too, right? You could have your animated sections that. I was about to say that as if like animated is children. What I meant is that they could include animated, but you could also have adult animated. You could have. I don't know why they are not doing everything. They've expanded into like TV shows and then specials. But like, why are they in all mediums and all age groups? Marvel could be in. Well, I say this as if I want it. I don't want Marvel everywhere because it's actually really annoying right now. But you'd think they would.
Well, I don't want them everywhere because they try to fit everything into a standard template. But if they would
Yeah,
let that go and just embrace whatever the aesthetic or the tone of a character is and have a suitable home to fit it into, they could do great stuff. But yeah, it just feels like they won't. Everything has to be just that goofy, light-hearted. Everyone's quipping every like 30 seconds or so, and like there's no stakes to anything. Like that's where they've killed themselves. Crimson 1993 says, "Hey Drinker, first time watching you live. Thanks for everything that you do. You've been a big inspiration for my own story that I've been writing for 13 years now. Damn, that's almost as long as Avatar 2. I hope you can review it when I finally finish." Well, I mean, best of luck to you, man. I'll try and take a look if I get the chance. But yeah, hope you get it done. That's a long time to invest in writing a story. Damn. Derek says, "Do you have any favorite old school games? Old school being pre 2000 on console or PC?" I mean, I think you know what I'm gonna say. So, like the PlayStation was my era, like that sort of mid to late 90s. Just loved it. The Metal Gear Solid, Final Fantasy VII, the like initial batch of Resident Evil games, the initial Tomb Raider games. Loved all that stuff.
I missed
Those would
that
be my.
whole generation.
I know you were just a baby back then.
Still, dude, I even for my own generation, I missed out. I was watching films from super early on and just focused on it. And then when I went to school, like high school, people were like, "How many games you played?" And I was like, "I don't know, Pac-Man." I played that one.
Man, I just yeah, it
Thing
was a
is, though,
great era.
genuinely, in my school, I'd be like, "You guys seen Predator?" And they'd all be like, "We're not allowed to see Predator." I'd be like, "Oh." Uh,
I was of that generation where our parents either didn't know the movies too well or just didn't give a fuck, and so yeah, we were like 8, 9 years old and watching like these 18 movies,
my
and
parents had
Predator
the
was
whole
one of the
like,
favorites.
no nudity, but violence is fine because just violence is fine. Everyone does violence is fine, except for some reason stuff like The Hills Have Eyes. They'd be like, "Oh well, that has rape in it, right?" So I guess that's probably why. There's
I
some.
mean, yeah, that's kind of next level. I think people getting blown up and stuff and just shooty, bang, bang stuff is fine.
Well, like
But
I was allowed to watch Silence of the Lambs, which isn't exactly. It's a bit more psychological.
yeah,
But yeah, no, my parents just and it's, to be fair to them, I just never got like super affected by it. I would see like people getting completely cut up, and I'd be like, I wonder if they'll make it out of this. Like instead of being like, oh my god.
yeah. um, Next one is Maxwell Washuls, who says, "Have you ever watched Tokyo Vice at all? If not, I highly recommend it. I also watched The French Connection for the first time the other night, and I'd be interested in an extra shots video on it." Yeah, The French Connection is an absolute classic, man. Um, but yeah, Tokyo Vice, haven't seen that, so I don't know. Jacob McQuaid says, "For the Rokita Shoulders Fund." I don't know what that is. Anthony Pook says, do a happy hour for the Robocop duology. Watch Robocop 2 again. I don't think you're giving it a fair shake. I know it's not as good, but I prefer it. Wow.
Preferred
So
to Robocop 1? Damn.
that's a minority opinion.
Wow.
Robocop 2 always just gave me this slightly icky feeling watching it.
I only saw that the one time, and I remember thinking it was weird.
I remember as a kid the bit where the guy gets like cut open. You know, the cop who's like dirty and he gets like found out and stuff. And
Mm.
yeah, and the bit where the guy gets like reduced to basically a brain in a jar, so he can get put into the sort of new like RoboCop 2.0 that they're building. What was his name again? Like the evil drug lord dude, Kane. That was it. Yeah. But yeah, it's like it took a lot of the satire elements of RoboCop 1, but it was just like amped them up to 11, and so like it wasn't smart anymore. It was just bleh. But at least it wasn't RoboCop 3. Hyper intelligent crayon eater says, for the Brits, has anyone seen Rogue Heroes about the foundation of the SAS? It seems to have flown under the radar, but it deserves some love. Yeah, people have been recommending that to me. Apparently, it's really good. I don't know. Have you seen it?
Not heard of it, no.
Yeah, Rogue Heroes. It's about how the SAS got started back during World War II, and yeah, it's meant to be really good. Bass player says, Apocalypse Now could not be made today. No studio in their right mind would spend that much money, let alone go to the Philippines to film it. Nah, it would all be green screened. It'd be done in a nice, safe,
Yeah, they'd never do
air-conditioned
it.
studio. Yeah, it's just great when you see stuff like that compared to like Marvel scale movies. It just makes me laugh.
Yeah.
Burkmain A says, imagine if all of Open Bar, Friday Night Tights, EFAP, and the real BBC have superhuman strength and Az assembles them all to fight a villain. Which DC or Marvel villain would you like to fight? Kevin Feige, probably.
I don't know,
What sort of
man.
superpowers are we talking here?
Yeah, I'd be curious. I feel like open bars would be alcohol related somehow.
Yeah, like would we just be like the deep from the boys? It's like we can just swim underwater, like and hold our breath for a really long time, or would we be like,
EFAP would slow time or pause time and stuff. The
yeah,
time traveling thing. Friday Night Tights. I don't know. What would their power be?
the ability to shout really loud, I think.
Just like overwhelm their enemies with all
Yeah.
kinds of.
They'd be like
chatter.
Black Bolt, and just yell and like things just vaporize in front of them. I think mine would be like, I don't know, like I get so drunk that I can't feel pain or register injuries, so I'm essentially indestructible.
Yeah,
Like,
not bad. There you go. It
Real
writes itself.
BBC. Yeah, what would they be?
Real BBC. Well, if you go by something to do with bagging and boarding comics, I don't know.
Would it be just knowledge? They've got the power of knowledge on their side.
Like a Professor X type character, but
Yeah, but not
just-
like the one that goes up against Scarlet Witch.
The thing is, these teams, do they get repeated members? Like, how many nerdrotics are in this
Yeah.
team?
It's like Real BBC. That's just like other people merged together into one team. Riley Goddard says, hello, drinker and panel. I'd love to have asked this question a few weeks ago, but would you consider Terror on the Prairie as a good film from 2022? I mean, I've reviewed it already, so I guess I've kind of given my thoughts on that. Oh, there's my microphone.
I have not seen it.
I guess my overall takeaway was like it was fine. It wasn't a particularly ambitious movie. It was just a kind of Western thriller with a bit of action in it. So not trying to do anything earth shattering. But I thought it was okay. I thought Gina Carano got to do like more emoting than she normally gets to do in most of her roles, so it was fine. But yeah, it's not going to change the world or anything, but it was fine for what it was. Casey Boyd says, have you guys seen Disney Plus Star Wars shorts? It's good. No, I haven't. What are they?
Nope. No idea.
Sorry, man. ID Crisis says, interested to see what the Layers think of the Roger Dean copyright suit against Cameron. The Layers? I don't know. So why is Roger Dean suing James Cameron? Let's see if I can get like a really quick high-level view.
Yeah, does it have something to do with the success of Avatar 2, I guess?
Right. So, God, what's the gist of this? So the lawsuit was done back in 2014. He dismissed Roger Dean's lawsuit against. Sorry, a judge dismissed Roger Dean's lawsuit against James Cameron and the motion picture Avatar. Um, you're right. So he normally designs. He's a graphic designer. Um, oh, okay. So he's implying that James Cameron got the idea for the floating mountains from an album cover that he illustrated.
Ah,
Um, right. Okay. So that's pretty tenuous. Uh, yeah. Apparently, it was dismissed a long time ago. So I don't really know what I can add to that. Really.
I feel like that's really hard to prove too. Like floating
Yeah.
environments or whatever. It's like, I guess if they look like exactly the same, then fair enough. But
Yeah. XSL says thoughts on John Space from Dead Space reboot. You might know more about
um,
this than I do. I never really played Dead Space.
I have seen 5 minutes of like the release stuff. I'm going to avoid it now because I want to play it for what it is when it comes out. They might be talking about how they've changed his face. The original Isaac Clarke looks like Isaac Clarke. The new one looks like the voice actor. They've changed it
Right.
up. So, everyone's got an opinion on that. I've heard the people say the original face was much more distinctive. I imagine that's probably connected to the fact that that's the one they're familiar with, as opposed to it being more distinctive as a face. I've heard the argument that he doesn't look much like an engineer anymore, and I'm just like, I don't know how you can. What does an engineer face look like? You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So, yeah, I don't know. I'm gonna play it when it comes out after playing the original again, and I'll update you on what I think.
Cool. Moflo 3D Archive says, I think Richard Madden would be a good Bond. He was sly in Rocket Man and a good action lead in Bodyguard. He's not bad, yeah. Yeah, I don't know if he's quite got the like charisma to play Bond, but I think he's been fine in the things I've seen him in. He was in the Eternals, but forgive him for that, I suppose. Crudler says, I wish they made more superhero movies where the stakes are smaller and localized for that character and save the high stakes for the Avengers type movies. Yes, that would be nice, wouldn't it?
That would be
Just
nice.
small stakes, characters you care about, that would be fine. The real Holtzonator says the art style here alone looks terrible. It's sad that there are so many talented artists and this is what we get. Also, yes, they've gone full minstrel. Yes, this is Velma, and yeah, the art style is just that same standard shitty Cal Arts style of animation that you've seen in a million other things. Looks like garbage. It looks like there was no soul or anything put into it. It was just run through a computer program. And yeah, I'll share my thoughts about Velma in due course. Don't worry. Baker Boy says, have you heard the blurb for this new Velma show? It's like someone submitted the most OTT parody pitch on a lark and it actually got greenlit. I mean, that's what it feels like. Yeah, we talked about this the other night on Open Bar. It's like every stereotype, every cliche you can imagine from like a modern reboot of an old show. It's pretty much worked into Velma. And I can't shake the idea that it might just be some actual piss take of modern writing. If so, hats off to you, Mindy Kaling. Like, well done for being so self-aware. Um, James Moore says, I take offense to saying that Shaggy is a loser. He had the most game out of all the characters and dated several chicks. Yeah, I mean, he was just a kind of parody of a 1960s, like, hippie slacker dude, that was Shaggy. I think we all
Yeah.
knew why he wanted Scooby snacks. And, you know, he is what he is. Pajori says, Velma has convinced me that we need to say blackface rather than race swapped, i.e., Velma has Shaggy in blackface. I mean, yeah, it's kind of what they've done. He's a different character now. They've given him a different name and stuff. So it's weird because it's like he's meant to be a completely different archetype now. He's like a geeky kind of like student newspaper editor type guy. Who's got the hots for Velma and he's in the friend zone, but he still dresses like Shaggy from the original. And it just made me wonder why, if he's meant to be a completely different character, like, why did you make him look like him? It's
Don't
just like,
know.
well, it's recognizable, I guess.
Sometimes you have to remind yourselves like of when these ideas would have been put in concrete, so to speak. And I don't know when Velma's was, but it would have been a while back, right? We're still coming out of the insane era. so we're still going to get lots of these projects.
I mean, you say we're coming out of it. Like, I hope
Have
we
we
are.
passed this peak yet or not? I don't know. It's hard to say.
I don't know. Every time I think like this is the dumbest thing ever, this is like the wokest thing ever. It's like they find a new way to surpass it somehow,
I
and
think Gary said it's going to get worse before better still. So
yeah, it's just you'd almost think like the studios, the executives might realize that the tide has turned, the winds have shifted, and so bringing stuff like this out, you're probably better off just not doing it. Just can the whole thing so that no one ever has to see it.
yeah.
Dermy Wormy says, as a guy who reviewed both episodes of Velma today, it is literally worse than She-Hulk. It is self-deprecating and yet preachy at once. Having seen the first two, yeah, I can attest to this. Wolfsbane says, from what I heard, they also made Shaggy or Norval an incel as he has an unrequited crush on Velma. Also, Velma is Indian, not black. That is true, yes. So she is basically Mindy Kaling. And yeah, as I said previously, yeah, he's a kind of geeky character. Yeah, and he's got a real crush on her. But I think she's lesbian, so that ain't gonna work. Dearest says Literature Devil compared Velma to Daria. They ripped off an episode shot for shot in some scenes. Ooh,
Wouldn't surprise
wouldn't
me.
be surprised. Yeah. Deflating Atheism says stop erasing tomboys. Stop it! Briarwood says, in Velma, Fred is underdeveloped, aka he has a baby Wong. Velma's supposed to be Indian, guess why? Yeah, so Fred apparently is so rich and privileged that he's never had to go through puberty, so he's like 19 years old or something, and yeah, he's still not hit puberty for some reason. So
the part that I know about is that he doesn't know how to eat.
yeah, you saw that, did you?
That's something else. That's they're really going further and further with the whole how stupid can we make a character? He doesn't even know how to use a knife and fork. It's like, haha.
I thought we'd peaked with Kevin from Ghostbusters 2016, but yeah, apparently there's further depths we can plumb. And yeah, I guess it's just after seeing this kind of thing like 500 times in a row, you know, I'm getting a little bit tired of the dumb rich white guy trope. It's starting
boring.
to get really irritating now. S Sharp says Velma writers reveal the utter nastiness underpinning their activism again. It's about destruction to the point that those who agree with them disavow. Yeah, I mean, I said like when we were just getting started up there that it's one of the most mean-spirited shows I think I've ever seen. Like, genuinely seems to be like hatred underpinning it. Mariano Rodriguez says Shaggy is a heroin addict now and he's not to be mocked. Okay. The Real Halcinator says, so what you're saying is these writers need friends and therapy and a life. I mean, I think this show kind of is their therapy. That's kind of like She-Hulk as well. It's like a show, in She-Hulk's case, it was like a show designed for 30-something singletons who don't really have much going on in their lives and regret their choices, but they want to justify themselves. And that's kind of what Velma feels like as well. Christian Wolf says she was a lead writer. So,
In the office?
yeah, this is what we were wondering about, because I've heard other people say that she was just a contributing writer. And literally, to be a contributing writer, all you have to do is like suggest one line of dialogue for a character, and that's it. Your name's in there. I mean, I don't want to take things away from her if she legit was lead writer.
I do try and encourage people to not be so like hasty in terms of being like, no, she couldn't possibly. It's like, no, it could be. It could just be that she was surrounded by better talent. She had a better sense of humor back then, and she's lost it since then. Could be.
Possibly, yeah. Ian Hines says IGN gave Velma 6 out of 10. Yeah, we said that the other night, actually. That's pretty bad if IGN could only give it 6. Chuck McDaniel says she was kind of funny in 40-Year-Old Virgin as the girlfriend Rude couldn't get over just because of how ludicrous it was. I mean, yeah, like most of the things I've seen I remember from The Office, obviously. I remember the Mindy Project. Can't say I've been blown away by her as an actress, but
No.
hey. Matthew A says Legend of Korra started in this. What's that? The Steven universe started all of this, at least in Kid Show. What? I don't know. I'm not sure what that was referencing. Legend of Korra started, and then Steven Universe started all of this, at least in Kid Show. Does that make any sense to you?
Um, I don't know if Steven Universe. Are they saying Steven Universe is to blame for all of this? Maybe it got pretty popular.
Harry Langdon says, "Will you react to Pillar of Garbage's response video?" Well, as it happens, EFAP already did, so I
Yeah,
don't have to.
I imagine that person already knows if they were invested in that.
Yeah. Apparently this absolute clown decided to go after me, and I don't think it ended too well for him, but hey. Matthew A says, "Hey Drinker, what's your thoughts on Amazon's Fallout series?" So, yeah, that's a thing which is going to be happening. I don't know much about it at this point. Like, we haven't seen much, have we? We just have to,
No, yeah, we're gonna have to just wait, I guess.
given their history of adaptations, I don't really know. David Lamplow says, "The best Star Wars content was Star Wars Fallen Order, a game. The other thing about games is creatives go mad and it's brilliant." I mean, I suppose in some ways that's true. You've got more creative freedom, perhaps, than you have in a movie. You've got a lot more space to play with as well, in terms of like having a really expansive narrative. But yeah, I guess that's the way it goes sometimes with Star Wars. Yum Yum Eat 'em Up says, "I honestly thought Gary getting a controller that works would solve all of his problems. He's playing right now, and God, I was wrong. I was so wrong." This is what happens when you get a boomer to play video games who hasn't played anything since like the Atari days, you know?
Just give him a chance. He's
Yeah.
trying.
He'll get there. He'll get there. Jafis76 says, "Are the Golden Globes a train wreck like Woodstock 99? I think they probably are. The difference is that like people went to Woodstock, and I just don't think anyone really cares about the Golden Globes now." James Moore says, "Let's be honest, Mauler, that Gears 3 final boss wouldn't have been nearly as bad if it was on normal instead of hardcore."
Well, yeah, but that doesn't make it not shit. There's another difficulty above hardcore. I can't imagine how fucking annoying that would be.
Amanda Ristine says, "What's your prediction for the Last of Us TV show?"
I think there's going to be stuff in there to complement, but I'm expecting, if gun to my head and I had to make a bet on good or bad, it would be bad.
I think we're not going to like Joel. I think they're not going to portray him as they did in the games, and it's going to be annoying for a lot of people. Andrew Valdez says, "All you need to watch, you all need to watch Puss in Boots, the best movie of last year, and a freaking kids movie about a character I shouldn't care about." Yeah, man, is that out? Has it been out at the cinema already? I saw a trailer for it.
Yeah, it went to digital really quickly. You can watch it now on streaming, I think.
Okay. Yeah, I might give it a watch. I mean, can't be that bad, surely. David Sitliff says, "The Critical Drinker, I don't see it in your reviews. Have you ever seen Sneakers? Great movie and very relevant to today. Robert Redford, Sidney Poitier, Ben Kingsley, River Phoenix, and Dan Aykroyd." Sneakers. The name, I know the name, but I don't think I've seen it. No. And it's got a hell of a cast as well. I don't know if you've seen it.
No, I didn't hear of that.
God damn it. Noah Gooder says, "What did Spock find in Kirk's toilet? The captain's log." Yeah, Kirk left it there especially for him. Noah Gooder says, "Where did the Borg eat fast food? At their local Burger King." This guy's on fire. Christian Wolf says, "Removing episodes because they were offensive happened with the Muhammad episode in South Park. Guess wokeness is on par in terms of radicalism." Well, I mean, we talked about this quite in detail the other night, how it's just really insidious and shitty. You can be watching your favorite series or whatever, and hey, suddenly an episode's missing. Why is that gone? Well, someone somewhere complained about it.
Too bad.
Yep. ID Crisis says, "Killer that the most badass time machine was designed by a guy busted for cocaine." What's that? Is that the DeLorean or what?
Yeah, I guess so.
Okay. Angrospaz Marine says, "True equality isn't achieved until everyone is equally miserable." Well, we're working on that now. I think we're getting there. People seem pretty miserable these days. Sean Amunia says comedy isn't dead, it's just not mainstream anymore. I think that's, yeah, very true. Patient Elijah says, Hey Drinker, in Open Bar 28, I asked you if you could make your main channel a featured one on After Hours, and you said you would. However, I think you may have forgotten to do so. Have I? I thought I did that. I'm confident that you're currently reading this while recording your super chat catch up and not during the main stream. You absolute clairvoyant, you. Therefore, I was wondering if you could do it right now. If you need a quick reminder how to do it, here's how. YouTube, studio customization, featured sections, ad section, and featured channels. I mean, I will do it. I just don't want to do it like in the middle of this catch-up stream because I'm just going to go silent for the next several minutes while I do that. So,
Yeah.
but I will make you this promise that I will get that done immediately after this stream. How does that sound? Aviation says, Hey Drinker, if you laugh out loud at the jump scare in Doctor Strange when they were in the tunnels running from Wanda, I did. It's such a pathetic movie. No, I didn't. I didn't laugh out loud. I just didn't even react to it. I was just bored and sad. I think.
Bored and confused.
Yeah, it's that kind of movie. Demaster12 says, canonically, Satan's biggest motivation is to make all the world just as miserable as he is, just like the preachers of the message. Think about it. Well, there we go. Connection confirmed. Bass Player says, Faulty Towers is still on streaming. The only episode that has a content warning is the last episode, Basil the Rats. Give it time, I would say, because, yeah, there's a lot of stuff in there. There's quite a lot of, like, language there that I just don't know how they get away with having it available. Yeah. Particularly from, like, the Major and stuff. Like, I think you know what I'm talking about.
Oh, yeah.
But, yeah, I don't know how they get that one through. Bearded says, we should start a campaign about how the Disney Castle is a representation of white privilege and supremacy, and the use of the mouse as a mascot is harmful to the mouse population, just to see if they'll bend the knee to us. I would love to see that, yeah. They're just like, news report, like Disney demolishes their own castle, you know, at Disney World. We did it, guys! We got it! Drop Barracuda says, AH should play Bill Paxton in the sequel, Twister 2, Twisted Panties. She nails that deadpan bad actor type. Is that Amber Heard? I guess, maybe.
Maybe, yeah.
John Canuck says, Hey Drinker and Mauler, loving the weekly open bars. Since you brought up Trek in your discussion, I've got to ask, what are your favourite and least favourite Star Trek films? I mean, that'll be a pretty short list in your case, Mauler.
I haven't seen
an
opinion, so yeah.
Most favorite, Wrath of Khan and Undiscovered Country. Least favorite, probably Nemesis and Insurrection. I think both just boring as fuck. So yeah, Final Frontier is pretty garbage as well. I think we all know that. And oh Christ, I even forgot about this. I wasn't even counting like the rebooted Star Trek, but yeah, all of them as well. They're all horrible. I hate their existence. Kid Gemini says, I've got a bone to pick with Mauler. What the fuck are you, blind? How could you not see God of War Ragnarok's story being a woke dumpster fire that it is?
I don't know, Drinker, why don't you answer that?
Well, Mauler, I haven't completed it yet. You have. So...
Well, hey, we've got 30 hours of coverage of Ragnarok on EFAP. If you want to know the answer, it's all in there.
Yeah. I looking forward to sharing my thoughts when I've completed it. I guess I'll stay fairly quiet about it until then, but I'm liking it so far. RRTNZ says, as a Welshman, I'm offended by it ain't half hot mum portraying a Welshman as a racist asshole. Said none of us Welsh folk ever. It's hilarious. There we go. ID Crisis says, the marginalized marginalize themselves by each individual accepting the idea that they belong to a group of victims. It's a collective of people who have failed to launch. Let them crash to earth. Fair play. This is Kyle says, honestly, this is why I like anime more than most Western media. The creator of One Piece got asked why he draws women with big boobs and little waists. His answer is that he likes boobs and bugger off. I mean, that's pretty much the perfect anscer as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, that about covers it. You can just say that. Yep.
It's like, that's my justification. That's all you need from me. Ofer Rafid says, Raiders of the Lost Ark will be cancelled because melted faces offend botched tea surgeries. Ooh. Rottweiler says, the objective is to destroy pop culture because it's a unifying force for the ordinary people that distracts from distracts them from being revolutionaries. It just, man, I feel like it's not even something as grand as that. It's just assholes who are miserable complaining about stuff just because they can. Tobias Widner says, something to buy a drink for your doggos and treats for yourself. Thank you, man. Or was it the other way around? Well, depends what kind of day it is. Hope you're doing well and wish you all the best for your future endeavors. Heard that you're planning or are in the middle of making a movie based on your books. Can't wait. Thank you very much. And yeah, this year should be an interesting year for movie making for me. We'll see what happens, but I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah.
Bearded says all the studios are circling like vultures waiting for someone to greenlight a Back to the Future remake. Well, apparently it's locked in so that it can't happen, but I guess when the original creators eventually pass on, we'll see what happens then.
Yeah.
Ted Comet says, thin crust or thick crust? That's
On
all.
pizza?
I assume that's what he's asking. Yeah, we did talk about pizza a little bit. Someone's asking our favorite toppings.
For me, probably thin crust as well. I'm more into the toppings than I am the crust, gotta say.
Yeah. I'm pretty much the same, yeah. If it's a thick crust, it just fills you up really quickly. Alfarius Omegon says, this crap's been going on since forever in the US. Mr. Popo from DBZ turned blue, and Jinx based on the Japanese Manba fashion subculture, straight edited out of Pokemon because of blackface. Well, I'll take your word for it, man. Max Steele says, Mauler Prime has the advanced D&D episode.
Oh, Prime... Amazon Prime has it?
Guess so, yeah.
So Netflix is the only ones that have booted it for now then. That's nice, I guess.
Ballistic Bob says, when I'm not spending my time blowing up petrol stations or failing to open bottles of wine, I watch Mr. Drinker and indulge in his condemnation of blue-haired land whales. Cheers to you, Drinker. Well, it's a pleasure. I aim to please. Aaron Cowell says, please consider asking on the Authentic Observer. I think you'd really like her takes on female characters. Yeah, I'm familiar with her work, actually. Haven't seen her new stuff, but yeah, I remember her being pretty good. She's a Brit as well, so we have to have her on.
Spiffing.
Kyle Two Shoes says, Drinker, you eloquent explainer of entertainment, equine excrement. Here are some dollars. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. Edward Lewis says, the state of Star Wars, Stranger Things, Wednesday, and Star Wars release a show on the same day, which doesn't get watched. Star Wars, I would guess.
Yeah, I assume so.
I mean, it was Andor, so it wasn't the best option. Lucky Jack says, hey Drinker, greetings from Australia. Have you seen the new War of the Worlds TV show? First episode is a cross between Independence Day and Contact. They made another one? Damn. That's a popular story, man. I wonder how many times that's been adapted over the years. But yeah, I haven't seen the latest one. Magma says, have you seen the series Clark on Netflix with Bill Skarsgård? No, I haven't. Sorry, mate. Ted Comet says, Velma starting today. Can we expect a vid? Well, give me until tomorrow. What's that? Marco Camiro says, movies ain't like they used to be. Remember what's that? 3T, 1Ts in Total Recall. All right. Yeah, I see what you're saying. The 3 tits in Total Recall, that was peak cinema. It was, yeah. You make me wish I got 3 hands. What advertising are you planning on using for your upcoming movie? Plus, Google Brie Larson Hobbit toes. No, I don't want to look at Brie Larson's feet. That's terrifying. But yeah, with advertising, like it's going to be going out on my channel, so I guess it's got a fairly decent audience that could potentially watch it. I have no idea how many people actually will, but we will see. Angry Minky says, Richter gets his arms ripped off by the elevator in Total Recall. Yeah, I remember that. Arnold throws his arms off the elevator and says, see you at the party, Richter. Yeah.
That
was a great death. Jolly Roger says, who is Jon Snow's mother? How deep are you into a Song of Ice and Fire rabbit hole? Would you consider a Song of Ice and Fire stream with the Order of the Green Hand? YouTube, look them up. I mean, feel like we've kind of exhausted our Game of Thrones stuff for now until a new season of something comes out, really. Yeah, I don't
Like
know what.
House of the Dragon. Also,
Yeah.
Lyanna Stark, right? That's the answer to that question, or is there a different theory?
No, there is. Nathan, well, I mean, you get the flashback for it, so I don't know what the books do with it, but that was in the show.
Yeah.
Nathan Lai says the only good thing about new media seems to be that it retroactively makes some objectively crap stuff from the 80s seem like actual cinema. That is true, yeah. It makes me appreciate older stuff all the more. JS Pena says, have Mark Bishop, aka Minty Comedic Arts, on Open Bar. He's a great YouTuber and he would be an awesome guest. Do you know much about him at all? Not
No, I
familiar.
don't. What was the name again?
Minty Comedic Arts.
No.
Okay. JJW says, Hail Drinker, do you know HG Tudor's channel? His work on narcissism is awesome. Check out his analysis of Jolie and Pitt, Kevin Spacey, and H. Weinstein. Wow, there we go.
Hmm.
HG Tudor. Joshua Hawley says, have any of you seen Logan Lucky? If so, what's your thoughts?
Logan Lucky. No, I haven't seen it.
I feel like we're having a bit of a run here of like stuff we
Yeah.
don't know about. I'm sorry, guys.
Sorry.
Sometimes, yeah, sometimes we get lucky and we've seen everything. Other times, yeah, we don't have a clue. Stu Dent says Bob Iger is going to ham on KK, and I love it. I mean, we'll see. I think her contract runs out soon, so maybe she could be gone after Indy.
Maybe.
Chatterbox says, have you seen the new anti-drinker video by Pile of Garbage? It's stupid and it's gaining a lot of traction on YouTube. Well, I hope he enjoys his moment of relevance. I think the EFAP boys have already destroyed him, so that was nice. Chatterbox says, Hail Drinker, what software do you use for video editing? And how long does it take to get a good grasp of using it? So, I use VideoPad Professional. It doesn't take long at all. It's a pretty simple editor, and I like it because it works for my simple brain. So, it could use a bit more flexibility in terms of like effects and transitions and stuff, just if you want to do a bit more fancy editing, but otherwise it's fine for what I do. So that's me. What's the next one? Yeah, Silly Raccoon says, Bank wouldn't process my Kickstarter donation for the short film, so here it is on the YouTubes. Love the work that you do, folks. And that was for $50, so thank you very much, man. I appreciate your generosity, and I'm sorry your bank was messing with you there. Matthew A says, Hey Drinker, if you read Frank Miller's Dark Knight Returns, then you will understand a lot of Batman versus Superman. Yeah, I know that's what they were going for with Ben Affleck's Bruce Wayne, like the older version of him. Yeah, I'd love to get that a read sometime, actually. That pretty much rejuvenated Batman as a character in the late 80s. Sanguinary Guard says, this may be a bit old, but talking about adapting a classic story, what are your thoughts on Treasure Planet versus Treasure Island? I've only seen Treasure Planet once, I think, when, like, around about when it came out, so that's been a long time. I
Yeah.
thought it was alright. I guess I didn't judge it too harshly or anything.
I remember liking it a whole bunch. I haven't seen it in ages.
Yeah, I need to rewatch it, I guess. But yeah, thought it was alright. Chatterbox also says, can't wait for your thoughts on Puss in Boots 2. Yeah, apparently I need to watch it. Recap Stories says, just wanted to say thanks for all that you do. Wish I could give more support, but I'm poor. But keep up the good work. Well, thank you very much, and thanks for your generosity, mate. Monkey God King says, best Kurt Russell movie, Miracle. Oh God, I've seen it over 100 times. Canadian, by the way. Okay. I would say it's Big Trouble in Little China, but that's just me. I've got a bias. Cool.
Yeah, maybe. Do I go with The Thing? But it's mostly because I just love that movie. Less to do with his performance, even though I was really good in it. I'd have to look at the list because Big Trouble in Little China is a very good stand-in for a choice in case I don't have one. So we'll go with that.
Where do you stand on Escape from New York?
That's another one I need to see again because I haven't seen it since I was a kid.
It's weird if you rewatch it now. I think I remembered it as having more action than it actually did. But yeah, Snake Plissken is he's class, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Coco says they're making another Gladiator. What? No. Don't do that. Chris Nicholson says, I know you get a million recommendations, but I have to put in a plug for Extreme Measures. Hugh Grant plays a doctor who discovers a colleague experimenting on homeless people to find a cure for paralysis, a hidden gem. That's an interesting concept.
Yeah.
And the last one is Roland New, who says, Hail Drinker, Mauler, and Nick. I'm loving Redemption so far. Got it for my birthday. Nice. Can't wait for the short film coming up. Thank you, guys. You all rock. Have a drink on me, brothers. Cheers. Thank you. That was a lovely way to end it. So, yeah. Cheers, mate. Appreciate that. And that is the last of the Super Chats.
Well, well.
Nice. Thank you to all you guys for being so generous. And, well, the next time you see the two of us, it'll be on the next open bar. I guess we should be able to talk a little bit about The Last of Us. It's out on,
Which will be so exciting.
Yes. I mean, maybe we'll have good things to say about it.
Maybe.
Fingers crossed. Who knows? Apparently, it's the best show ever made, according to like the professional reviews, which I absolutely trust 100%. So, yeah.
That's something, yeah.
Expecting great things. But yeah, that's pretty much, I guess, all we've got for today. So, go away now.
Bye.